Here we are! But how do we start again?
Hello and welcome to Stories About Blank, the podcast where we challenge ourselves and you to create brand new stories using prompts that we have never seen before.
Ooh, you're so slick, Morton.
I'm not sure if that's word for word what I've said the other episodes, but it's similar enough.
Your voice is so deep.
Yes, this is my radio voice.
Oh, this is the part where we introduce ourselves. I'm Katie.
And I'm Morton.
And this is episode 4. And we're going to take a prompt. Well, Morton,
Oh, yes.
You got a prompt for us?
Oh, haha, I did not, well, not yet.
We are professional.
We still haven't found anything better to use than writingexercises.co.uk. Not a sponsor, but very cool site.
And open to sponsorship.
I think this might also just be like a passion project by one or a few people, so that's probably not gonna happen, but still. So let's see now. We have tried a couple of different generators. We did a first line generator last time. Do we want a title generator this time?
Oh, sure, why not?
Let's try that. Okay. So here we go. The adjective noun is what I'm going to press these buttons and see what we get.
Okay.
The Incredible Moth.
The Incredible Moth?
The Incredible Moth.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
Oh, that's... Huh. No, that can go a lot of ways.
Oh. Yeah, we're tired parents, and this is such a great opportunity to just flex our creative muscles, and it's so fun to do this.
Yes. We are like, if people are listening and enjoying, that is wonderful, but we're mostly doing this for ourselves.
Yep. So, through the magic of editing, we will be back very quickly, but right now we're going to go take 20-30 minutes and write.
And you can do the same.
Yeah, feel free to pause and let your creativity flow. But before we jump into the stories, a word from the sponsor, me. I'm kind of like a coach. I'm kind of like a friend. I'm kind of like a cheerleader. I'm kind of like an inspiration and idea machine. And what I do is I talk to you and I ask questions to dig into where your creative block is coming from, what it is that's standing in your way. And I give you practical ideas of things that you can try. And I give you inner work to do that you do in your own time and in your own way and what reflects closest to your values and belief system. And I have such a passion for talking to people who feel blocked. It's such a powerful experience to ask the questions, to dig deeper. It feels like a spiritual healing experience, genuinely. I don't say I'm going to come in and fix anything, but I show you something that you can grab onto. And I've heard so many times of people saying, wow, I never thought of it that way, or I hadn't heard it in that way. That really resonates. And I've seen people walk away from talking with me and go and do the project that they've been wanting to do. And it's such an honor to see that. So the way that we can connect is through my website, clearingthecreative.com. And it should be clearing for the creative, but there it is. It is a clearing for you to do the thing. I also have some encouraging blogs over there. You can check out other podcasts that I've had. You can hear some of those powerful clearing conversations that I've had with people. And yeah, that is a resource for you. So you can connect with me there and you can book a free chat where we can talk and dive into an aspect of life that is a struggle for you. And we can see if we vibe, if we mesh, if we would be a good fit for working longer term and more regularly, so that I could do that for you on a basis. If you feel super stuck, but you believe that you are meant to push through on the project because you feel a sense of purpose and passion about it, then we could be meant to work together. So, my website, clearingthecreative.com. I guess I've rambled enough, so let's get into the stories.
And we're back.
We are. How did that feel?
It felt good. Oh man, I'm sure we took this in completely different directions. I mean, I'm positive.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe we had the same outlandish thought. Who knows?
Who knows? But we were writing forever. I went back to go do some more chores, cleaning and tidying, because I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, it took me a while to get started, to like find my footing, but then once I did, it was like, this was a difficult story to write, but I'll explain more after we do the reading.
Shall we jump into it then?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Me first?
Go for it, baby.
Okay, so The Incredible Moth. It was her finest work. It really shouldn't be, but it undeniably was. She had been between commissions, so she had just been sitting in the back of her little jewelry shop tinkering, when suddenly a flash of inspiration carried her away. Or perhaps flash of inspiration was the wrong phrase. She hadn't really had a result in mind when her fingers started shaping the silver filigree, and yet the brooch had taken shape flawlessly, with seemingly no conscious input from her brain at all. As she was carefully mounting the different colored stones and gems, she felt like she was in a trance, like there was a flow to her movements which didn't even need her. In this moment, she was just the conduit for the gems to be placed where they had always belonged. She could take no more credit for the end result than a school bus driver could take credits for the students' grades. When it was done, she just sat there looking at the result. It was unlike anything she had ever made before. She usually worked with simple, abstract designs. This was so detailed and lifelike that she could almost imagine it moving. She certainly hoped it wouldn't. Quite apart from the implications of such an event, it would be a shame to see all of that effort just fly out the window. And it had been a lot of effort. She was surprised that she had completed something this intricate in such a short time. Not that she knew how much time it had actually taken, as she hadn't even looked at the clock since she started. She should probably change that. And her heart sank. It was closing time. She had spent the entire day on this project without even eating anything, and she hadn't had a single customer all day. Or worse, perhaps there had been customers, and she had been too lost in her crafting to even hear anyone in the front end of the shop. With practiced movements, she placed the brooch in a little padded box and hurried out of the workshop. There was a single customer standing at the counter, a tall man in a nondescript dark suit and a bowler hat. She hadn't heard the bell when he entered, which meant there could have been any number of people in here before him, which she had also been oblivious to. She shook off that unpleasant thought and plastered on her customer service smile. "Welcome to the jeweler's workshop. I hope I didn't keep you waiting too long?" The man didn't quite return her smile, but he also didn't look upset. In fact, she could read no emotion on his face whatsoever. Still, when he spoke, it was with a pleasant baritone. "My hope is that the result will be worth the wait. I have a peculiar request which I believe you might be able to fulfill." She wasn't sure if it was a question, but responded anyway. "Certainly. I make all kinds of jewelry to order. Are you looking for a ring, a necklace, or maybe some earrings?" "A brooch, actually. For some reasons I cannot explain, I find myself in urgent need of a brooch in the shape of a Luna moth. Are you familiar?" She paused for a moment. Was this a prank? When she finally found the words, they came out slowly. "As a matter of fact, I am, and as luck would have it, I have just completed such a piece today." She placed the box on the counter and opened it before continuing. "It is some of my best work, if I do say so myself, and I haven't quite settled on an asking price yet, but is this what you were looking for?" The man's face and body still betrayed nothing as he bent down to look closer at the piece. "It is exquisite. I shall have it. Perhaps this will be enough?" As he finished speaking, he pulled the largest stack of $20 bills that she had ever seen out of his pocket and placed them on the counter. For the second time in as many minutes, she found herself struggling to speak. She suppressed a cough. Yeah, yes, that should be acceptable. Without another word, he closed the box, put it in the pocket where the money had been, gave her a respectful nod, and walked out. As she started counting the money, she suddenly realized that she never even took a picture of the brooch before it was gone. It was as though it had never existed. But perhaps she could recreate it? Although, try as she might, she could not really remember how she had done it the first time. And with every second, even the memory of what it looked like grew fainter.
Nice.
Yeah! It was like... It was really hard to like... I wanted to imply things subtly. And it's like, it's so hard to be subtle without being too subtle. And I don't know if I hit that balance right.
I thought it was lovely.
So what is your what are your thoughts?
Fairies.
Yeah, something like that. I was going eldritch, like I was going like eldritch horror was where my head was. But it's like, well, fairies can be eldritch horror.
Oh, absolutely. I've heard some fairy stories that were pretty dang stinking scary.
Something needed this thing, and it assigned her to make it without her consent, and then just took it away from her without explanation.
I mean, I've heard of stories like of people's experiences of that, but with gardening. They just were in a zone. They just were doing this process they'd never done before. They didn't know how to do, and they just were doing it.
Yeah. And I'm like, it's sort of funny because I almost felt a little bit like that writing the story too.
Oh!
Yeah.
I love it. All right. You ready for mine?
Yes.
The Incredible Moth. Are you watching those moth videos again? Ugh, you are so boring. Why can't you get into something interesting? You know, superheroes or horses or boys or anything else. Why do you even care, Sasha? There's so many awesome superheroes with so much lore, and superheroes aren't even real, Sash. Who cares about what's real? What about what's cool? You know what I mean? A cool superhero, a popular one. You know, you could be interested in something that you could actually talk to people about. Moths are so gross and annoying. She pouted and hung upside down from the couch. Siblings, how fun were they? What made them even care about the incredibly low stakes of hobbies or fixations? What Sasha didn't know was that moths held an actually supernatural chokehold on Sam, and there wasn't going to be something else that she would want to talk about. Marie's big secret was that they were talking to her at night, flitting down to be heard and to impart knowledge. They would tell her what would happen at school, but nothing all that useful. It had been going on for a few weeks now, and at first she obviously thought she was going crazy, until the things actually happened. Oliver did spill chocolate milk. The gym teacher did get a phone call and leave in the middle of basketball looking slightly frantic. Someone did start a small fire in the upstairs bathroom. And she had grabbed a shirt from her brother and left it where Oliver could find it. She awkwardly hung on the bar in the doorway so her teacher wouldn't whack her head on it because of her distraction. She told the janitor about the fire and nothing bad happened there either. It was really one-sided conversation. They wouldn't answer any questions, but when she was ready to sleep, she would ask them to not land on her, and thankfully they would listen. Sam wondered if this was one incredible moth that had managed to learn communication, or if it was all moths. She wondered if it was just telepathic, and if she was just telepathic, and tried to direct her thoughts to Sasha and her mom just to see what would happen. Nothing. She tried to ask why this was happening and just got used to listening. Then she got the idea that when she wasn't doing homework, she could learn as much as she could about moths. Maybe the secret was hiding in plain sight on the internet about what was special about them. Maybe about what different cultures thought about them. The next night, she prepared herself to figure out how she was going to save the day in trivial or bigger ways. As she waited for the loud flapping, she pictured herself as a superhero, with large, fuzzy, comforting wings and a Wonder Woman power pose, fists on hips and bold smile. She chuckled about the image and then heard that familiar voice in her head. Trevor thinks he shouldn't be in this world anymore. He is feeling so alone. The moth's voice, if you could call it that, was regretful. like it should have been aware of this sooner. Sam wondered where it got the messages. Who decided what was important enough to impart, and how the heck was she going to solve this one? Trevor was an awkward guy. I mean, they all were, of course, but some people were more aware of it than others. What do I do? She begged in her head, listening as hard as she could. There was nothing, just silence. She felt it flutter on the pillow beside her and flipped on the lamp with a sinking feeling in her gut. It rolled back and forth a little and was still. Sam held her breath and scooped it up and opened her window and put it on a flat spot on a tree limb outside. With the tears sliding down, she went to her backpack and got a notebook and pen and sat down to write a note, telling him about the moth and the messages, and the last one said he could use a friend. She didn't care how crazy it sounded or if he believed her. She just wrote it all out and asked if he wanted to sit together at lunch. She left it on his desk the next morning and focused harder than ever on listening and taking notes and doing all the things so that she wouldn't accidentally look at him and feel like a huge idiot. At the cafeteria, she did everything to not scan the room and just sat in her usual spot in the corner back to everyone. She heard a throat clearing and jumped and turned around to see Trevor, brow furrowed, almost smiling quizzically as he sat across from her.
Ha. Ooh. Ha. Ooh. I like it. I like it a lot. So yeah, it was funny because I did have, like, of course, hearing The Incredible Moth, superheroics was one of the first
and I'm
things
like,
that
I
crossed
don't
my mind.
want to write a superhero story.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, no. I was like, and then it's like Mothman. And like, no, I
I
want.
don't know enough about Mothman lore.
Yeah. So then I was like, so I went like, okay, it's not even a literal moth. I was like, that's where I started. But you had a literal moth, but oh boy, yeah, I did not expect.
I'm like
that.
emotional over here.
This sort of reminds me a little bit of a short story I wrote years ago, but it was a similar thing of like, you know, someone needs a friend message sort of thing. And of course it also reminds me a little bit of Marcus Zuzak's The Messenger, or I Am the Messenger, different editions.
Oh, I have to reread that because I know I loved his stuff. It's been so long.
Yeah.
But I loved this show when I was a kid called Early Edition.
Right. Yeah.
He gets the newspaper a day early.
Yeah. They're like, there are so many interesting versions of this, of like person whose only superpower, or like, yeah, like who doesn't have superpowers but just somehow gets information about who and where people, like who and where might need help, and then just has to do it. And that's, those are really cool stories. And I feel like this was a good framing for that kind of story.
Thank you.
No, but really, like, it's one of these things where it's like, yes, this is a trope that has been explored before, but you did something new and unique with it.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, like, that's the thing. There are very few unique stories anymore.
It's so true. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't write it. It makes me think of how this great story of Michael Jackson waking up at 2 a.m, being like, I have to redo this song right now. And they're like, why can't we just do it at like 7? He's like, no, if I don't do it right now, Prince will do it.
I have not heard that story. That's really interesting.
Yeah, that's going into that woo-woo fun stuff of, you know, the consciousness of the universe choosing people to communicate through.
Yeah, this, you know, like, the whole thing, like, that's also an old story of like, you know, the religious angle to that, of someone feeling a calling from God to write something, and he does it, and he's like, but he's not at all happy with the results, and he's like, God, I'm not a good writer. Why do you call me to write this? And then he hears back the voice of God saying, well, to be honest, you're the 5th person I asked. And it's just like, yeah, the wherever you believe that the inspiration comes from, God or fairies or the universe or whatever, it's like, yeah, there are stories that need to be told, and eventually someone's gonna tell them. Might as well be you.
Yeah. And this and stories about saving a life just touch me in a different way. Like stories like yours get me excited because it's like tapping into what is that mechanism? Where does it come from?
Yeah. Yeah, it is really interesting.
Why?
This became. It is interesting to pick out themes where we didn't have a theme here. We just had a title, but then both of them were strange inspiration was a theme in these stories of doing something because you are because you feel that it is what you are supposed to do without knowing why you have that feeling or where the feeling comes from.
Yeah, and just how good that feels to just be typing and just follow that little niggling wonderment.
Yes. Well, if you wrote a generic superhero story, that's fine too.
Nothing against superheroes, you know?
No. I mean, yeah, there's a reason why there are still so many superhero stories. Is because that's a very deep well to draw from. And so, there's still plenty of unique things that can be done with those stories too. We just didn't feel like writing them right now. Or depending on sort of your main character sort of was temporarily a superhero in a very small way.
Yeah.
Which is that would be interesting to have a superhero whose superpower is just you learn about one thing that needs to change each day. You get one small hint about the future every day, and that's the entirety of the superpower. and then building from that, yeah, I would read more about that.
Yeah. I would read more about yours to dive into more of who is that guy?
Yeah.
What is that world?
Yeah, it's is he the source of all of this, or is he just another person being carried by, carrying this
Does she
for some other purpose that he is also not aware of?
Does she completely forget that this situation ever happened?
Yeah.
Just has all this money. Is like, where did this money come from?
Yeah. What did I do all day?
Oh,
but also moths are cool. Are you familiar with the Luna moth?
No.
I was like, okay, I need to reference a specific moth in this. So I just searched. I know they're I was like, okay, but the Death's Head moth is so overdone. That's the one that. So I went Luna moth.
Gorgeous.
Yes, it is absolutely beautiful.
We'll put that on the thumbnail and.
Yeah, we'll have to find a picture we are allowed to use of it. But if we weren't able to find a good picture to put on there,
Google it.
Yeah. But it is it has these long tails. It's all pastel pinks and greens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's shaped like a ballerina.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And I'm like, can you imagine trying to make something that looked like that out of silver and gemstones?
Oh gosh. I mean, I wouldn't know where to begin in general, but.
So it's that would be I was like, yeah, it needs to be something that just seems impossible to pull off to really drive home the fact that this was supernatural inspiration. So I was like, yeah, that's definitely weird enough.
But it is really nice with these short stories that you don't need to know who the guy is. You don't need.
Yeah.
It's beautiful to just stand on its own and just be this moment of time that is just completely mysterious.
Yes. And of course, or there's some implications to the fact that it's a Luna moth, so it's connected to the moon. That's a fun door to leave open.
Oh yeah, speaking of doors to leave open, there's oh, okay, I want to research. Is there any cool lore about moths in different cultures and that could connect back to the story? But like, no, I don't have time to do that.
Yeah.
I have 20 minutes to write the story.
Well, yeah, of course I took
You took like an hour.
45 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
Oops.
But anyway, thank you so much for listening, and we would love to hear feedback.
Yes. Yeah, and if you did write a story, we would love to read it.
Yes, and if there is a moth emoji, could you leave that or the nearest equivalent in the comments? That would be awesome. All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
This has been Stories About Blank. Thank you for listening this far. We appreciate your support, and don't forget to check out clearingthecreative.com. See about connecting with me and discussing your creative block, whatever it is. I would love to hear about it and see how I could support you. Thank you. Look out for the next awesome episode.